Among all the mysterious places in the world, few have inspired fascination and conspiracy theories as the Bermuda Triangle has. From passing planes falling from the sky to ships sinking without any Mayday calls, what could explain the bizarre happenings of this vast ocean stretch that spans from the southern tip of Florida to Puerto Rico and then up to Bermuda? This is the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, explained. First, let's get the basics. The Bermuda Triangle isn't recognized as an official region by maritime authorities, and different sources estimate the area to be 500,000 to 1,510,000 square miles wide. Interestingly, the ocean here plunges to a staggering depth of 27,493 feet, 8,380 meters. To put this into perspective, if Mount Everest were placed at the bottom, its peak would remain submerged under more than a mile of water. Simply, this is an abyss capable of not only swallowing you whole, but also erasing any evidence of the incident, just like it happened to the ill-fated Flight 19. So, let's talk about the Flight 19 incident. It's December 5, 1945 at the Naval Air Station, NAS, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 14 men and 5 bombers are taking part in a routine combat training exercise led by Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor. However, a little while after taking off, both compasses malfunctioned and the squadron shortly lost its sense of direction. After a few agonizing hours trying to find their way back to Fort Lauderdale, their final words crackle through the radio. "All planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, 38 liters, we all go down together." Then, silence. No wreckage, no bodies. So, what happened to the 14 men and 5 planes? Despite an extensive ocean grid search, neither airplane debris nor the bodies were ever recovered. To unveil the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, let's look at the possible explanations that have been advanced starting from the tame to the wild. 1. Human error. Let's start with the most obvious. Initial investigations by the Navy pointed a finger at Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor. As the leader of the bomber squadron, Taylor made several mistakes whose effects quickly compounded. Even though his compasses had independently stopped working, his subsequent navigational errors put the squadron in worse peril. Nevertheless, the Navy later amended its incident report to avoid blaming Taylor for the loss of the 5 planes and 14 men. And so they say that human error is the only explanation for these mysterious disappearances. But while that might be so, other incidents are just too wild to attribute to human error. Take the USS Cyclops, for instance. A giant U.S. Navy ship literally named after a mythical race of giants. On this occasion, it was carrying over 300 men and 10,000 tons of manganese ore. As luck would have it, this giant contraption of human ingenuity disappears without a trace. No distress calls, no debris, no survivors. What happened? 2. Methane and rogue waves. That brings us to our second possible explanation behind the mysteries of the triangle: 100-foot waves and methane gas deposits. The Bermuda Triangle hosts what is known as the Gulf Stream. This is a powerful warm water current that flows rapidly through the triangle, creating turbulent and unpredictable conditions. Sailors have long reported sudden storms, rogue waves, and whirlpools appearing out of nowhere, capable of pulling even the most formidable ships into the abyss. Even worse, the ocean here is known to have some methane deposits trapped in frozen form at the bottom of the ocean. Scientists have simulated that if enough of this methane gas was suddenly released, then the bubbles would lower the water density enough to almost instantly sink anti-passing ship. 3rd, extraterrestrial influence. But of course, many people are not convinced by these scientific explanations. If you ask them, it's almost as if the Bermuda Triangle is under the influence of some dark, otherworldly forces. Radar malfunctions, bright orbs in the sky, and strange radio interference have all been cited as evidence of these forces at work. Such was the case with a Grumman Cougar jet, which disappeared from radar while transiting through the area. 1 minute, air traffic control was monitoring the jet's ascent. The next minute, the jet's blip had disappeared from radar. The verdict. So, what do I think explains this phenomenon? While I'm tempted to fall into the conspiracy theory side of the debate, after all, it's much more fun and intriguing. My research pointed out several mundane facts. First, while the Bermuda Triangle has been blamed for a disproportionate number of airplane and ship disappearances, statistics from maritime and aviation agencies show that the number of vanishings in the Bermuda Triangle is no higher than in any other equally trafficked part of the world's oceans. By that, the triangle is no different than other parts of the ocean that see such traffic. Ship and airplane insurance companies have also denied that the Bermuda Triangle poses a statistically significant risk beyond the expected hazards of ocean travel. But perhaps the truth is simpler and darker. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't need monsters to haunt us. The ocean is monster enough. Its depths hide secrets we'll never recover. Its storms strike faster than radar can detect. And its currents? They scatter debris across continents like ashes in the wind. However, while most vanishings here have mundane explanations, some puzzles still remain beyond the purview of science. If you have watched this far, thank you, and see you in the next one.